Tonight, the recovery efforts and fight to bring closure to bridge collapse victims' families.
This horrific human tragedy was also an economic catastrophe.
A massive crane made its way to the scene of destruction in Baltimore as the work to clear some 4,000 tons of debris begins, while the recovery efforts continue. We'll have the latest. Plus,
people can do what they want to do. They want to make a country record. Make a country record.
Beyoncé's album Cowboy Carter is making waves, sparking a conversation about black artists in country music. So we sit down with a number of music artists on Beyoncé's Texas roots and the black country artists already in the game talking about the change. And it will be a rare total eclipse in just a matter of days, and the cities within its path are preparing for an influx of travelers. Tonight, we're going to dive into the booming eclipse tourism and the millions expected to shell out big bucks from Texas to Maine as the excitement builds. Good evening. I'm Phil Lipoff in tonight for Lindsay Davis. Thanks so much for streaming with us. We are following those stories and much more, including the arrests made in those viral attacks on women in New York City. Plus, the wrongful detainment of Wall Street Journal reporter Evan Gershkovich hits 1 year. What it means for his family and others held against their will abroad. We are also remembering the life of Oscar Award winner Louis Gossett Jr. And why Beyoncé's Cowboy Carter album has Dolly Parton trending and what the Queen of Country has to say about it when we go by the numbers. But we begin with the search for 4 missing road crew workers, the around-the-clock operation to clear the wreckage of the Francis Scott Key Bridge, and the race to reopen those critical shipping lanes for one of America's busiest ports. Heavy equipment now on the scene. Take a look, including what's called the Chesapeake 1000. It is the largest crane on the East Coast, capable of lifting more than 2 million pounds at a time. Our team out with the Coast Guard, getting an up-close look at the destruction today. Maryland Governor Wes Moore saying 7 cranes, 10 tugboats, 9 barges will be joining the salvage operation. And we can't forget about the victims. So far, 4 have been identified. The bodies of Alejandro Hernandez Fuentes and Dorleon Roniel Castillo Cabrera have been located. Dive teams are still searching for Maynard Yasir Suazo Sandoval, Miguel Luna, and 2 other unidentified victims. President Biden says he will visit the site next week. ABC's Elizabeth Schulze leads us off from Baltimore.
Tonight, the urgent mission to clear the mangled wreckage blocking the port of Baltimore, one of the busiest in the country. This colossal crane, one of the largest on the East Coast, now on scene, capable of lifting 2 million pounds at a time. But it's going to take more than that. This is just one of 4 heavy lift cranes that will begin removing what's left of the collapsed Francis Scott Key Bridge. Crews preparing to cut the twisted steel and carefully remove the massive chunks piece by piece before refloating the cargo ship Dolly, clearing the channel and reopening the port.
We can now see the cranes that came in overnight. They have a painstaking task ahead, lifting those pieces of steel from the river and clearing the debris.
We were back on the water today with the Coast Guard, able to get closer than any time before.
We're now 150 yards away from the container ship. The conditions here really give you a sense of how difficult this is going to be for first responders. The wind is picked up. All diving has been suspended as of right now.
The bodies of 4 construction workers still trapped in the underwater wreckage.
We know there's at least one vehicle, larger in size, that is completely encapsulated by the structure. It's going to take some time to get to that.
Maryland's governor bracing the community for a long road to rebuild.
I can tell you it is not going to be days or weeks or months. This is going to take time.
Let's get right to Elizabeth Schulze in Baltimore. Elizabeth, tell us more about that visit from President Biden.
Phil, President Biden says he'll visit Baltimore next week, and he's vowing that the federal government will cover the entire cost of rebuilding the bridge. Though $60 million in funds will cover initial costs, the entire project could be in the billions and take years to complete. Phil?
All right, in it for the long haul. Elizabeth Schulze from Baltimore. Elizabeth, thank you. Now to the holiday travel outlook for this spring break and Easter weekend. There are a record number of travelers taking to the skies. Trevor Alt has more on the airport rush amid growing safety concerns.
Tonight, the early Easter holiday rush stacked atop the crush of spring break travelers is leaving airports packed.
I want to get where I'm going, so I make sure to get here at least 3 hours early before my flight.
Officials at Atlanta's Hartsfield-Jackson predicting today to be their busiest day of the month. And nationwide, the TSA says Thursday was their busiest day so far this year. A United flight from San Francisco to Paris had to divert due to engine trouble. The Boeing 777 landing in Denver. And at Minneapolis-St. Paul International Airport, 2 Delta planes colliding on the taxiway.
It's just startling, a boom, and most violent shake I've ever had on an airplane.
No one was hurt, but 287 passengers had to find another way to get to their destinations. And next week's numbers could even overshadow what we're seeing now, as spring breakers will soon share the skies with travelers heading to cities in the path of the coming total eclipse. The FAA says the busiest day next week will be Thursday, April 4th, with more than 50,000 flights set to take off. And they're warning of potential delays due to high volume of aircraft and drones attempting to witness the total solar eclipse.
And Trevor joins us now. Trevor, we understand there's some news for people planning to travel by car as well.
That's right, Phil. Of course, as you might imagine, there are millions of people who are driving. And this time of year, as refineries switch to a summer blend, gas prices usually always rise. But so far, they've been rising even faster than they typically do. And according to Gas Buddy, the national average for a gallon of gas is now $3.54. That is 7 cents higher than it was this time last year. Phil.
All right, Trevor Alt, thanks so much. Now let's get right to meteorologist Rob Marciano. Rob, another spring storm is brewing.
Yeah, this one's it's got some potency to it. Here in the east, though, that the weekend travel weather for the holiday looks pretty good, but the western half of the country really looks bad, with California on the front lines of this very powerful storm, as you mentioned. Flood watches up and winter storm warnings in the mountains, and high wind advisories and watches up for California and Las Vegas and into parts of Arizona. The low is peppering San Francisco and San Luis Obispo tonight with heavy rain. That will pulse down into Los Angeles in the morning, but that low kind of hangs back. So it looks like not just tomorrow, but Sunday we'll see some rain and snow in the mountains, but that's going to lead to a risk of flooding, especially Santa Barbara to Los Angeles down to San Diego, and we'll probably see some mudslides in some of the hilly areas as well through the weekend. Some of that energy gets into the plains. On Monday, I think we'll see an eruption of some storms, some of which could be severe across eastern Oklahoma into parts of Missouri, including and up until St. Louis, maybe some tornadoes. That severe threat goes into the Ohio River Valley and Mid-South on Tuesday, and then that goes into the Northeast on Wednesday. It'll look a lot different here there. Then we might see even some snow in some spots come Thursday, late next week. Phil?
Spring snow, gotta love it. All right, Rob Marciano, thanks so much. Now to the growing number of alarming attacks here in New York City. Multiple women have come forward, some posting videos online claiming to have been punched in the face while just walking on the street. At least 2 suspects have been arrested, and there is a search for a 3rd person. Here's ABC's Aaron Katursky.
Tonight, the NYPD is investigating this incident and several others like it. A woman suddenly punched while walking on a Brooklyn sidewalk, seemingly for no reason.
I literally just got punched by some man on the sidewalk.
In the last 2 weeks, several young women have posted on TikTok about getting randomly punched on the streets of New York City.
Out of nowhere, this man just came up and hit me in the face.
Tonight, with those videos as part of their investigation, police have made 2 arrests, including this man, Skiboki Stora, charged with attacking an influencer known as Hallie Kate, whose video has been viewed 49 million times.
Literally, I fell to the ground, and now this giant goose egg is forming, and I'm like, a concussion, a black eye.
Design student Michaela Toninato shared a similar experience.
So I just got back from the emergency room after getting punched in the face.
Prosecutors said the man charged with assaulting her left the 27-year-old with a concussion and a visible mark on her eye. Police are investigating at least 7 random assaults where the victim later posted on TikTok. None is believed to be related to another. Tonight, police are looking for this man in connection with the assault of a 25-year-old woman in Times Square who was slapped in the forehead, and this man who allegedly punched a 24-year-old woman in the head.
Aaron joins me now from New York City. Aaron, investigators are saying these attacks are unrelated and random?
They are not part of any pattern, according to police, Phil, although that doesn't make them any less scary for those who experience them. Felony assaults in New York are up about 3%. Other crime statistics, though, show the post-pandemic surge in violence is continuing to level off. Phil?
All right, Aaron Katursky from New York City tonight. Aaron, thank you. Now to the race for the White House. President Biden, joined by former Presidents Obama and Clinton, raised $26 million during a record-breaking fundraiser at Radio City Music Hall. President Biden today saying the event showed skeptics and supporters they are united. Donald Trump was the main target of the night, as you would imagine. Here's ABC's Mary Alice Parks.
Tonight, President Biden fresh off that record fundraiser, a show of force with Presidents Obama and Clinton by his side. His campaign claiming a $26 million haul in just one night. No press cameras allowed inside. The campaign instead releasing select clips. The president painting a stark choice for voters.
This guy denies there's a global warming. This guy wants to get rid of not only Roe v. Wade, but which he brags about having done. He wants to get rid of the ability of anyone anywhere in America to ever choose.
And turning the tables on Donald Trump.
I mean, all the things he's doing are so old. Speaking of old. And, he's a little old and out of shape. But anyway.
President Obama trying to energize voters around Biden's record.
You've got record-breaking job growth. You've got an unemployment rate that is as low as it has been.
Put your hands together. I can see y'all.
The glitzy event at Radio City Music Hall.
That sounds like a party to me.
Ladies and gentlemen. Which was designed to be a show of party unity, punctured by protesters, blasting Biden for his ongoing support of Israel's war in Gaza.
Shame on you! You are funding genocide in Palestine!
Those party divisions on full display. Tonight, the Biden campaign is trying to bring in new voters with an appeal to Nikki Haley supporters, arguing in a new digital ad that Donald Trump does not want their votes.
How do you bring these Nikki Haley voters back into the tent?
I'm not sure we need too many.
Today, Trump doubling down on his message of law and order after visiting the family of slain NYPD officer Jonathan Diller.
It's got to stop. We have to have law and order. And when you have people repeat, this isn't a repeat offender. This is ridiculous.
Trump offering no details on how he'd fight crime. FBI data shows a recent drop in violent crime in most cities.
And Mary Alice joins us now. Mary Alice, there's also some news tonight on the election interference case against Donald Trump down in Georgia. Trump's team apparently appealing the judge's ruling that allows District Attorney Fani Willis to stay on the case.
Yeah, Trump and some of his co-defendants have now formally filed their appeal, arguing that even though her lead prosecutor stepped aside, the case has the appearance of impropriety because of Willis's past relationship with him. A three-judge panel now has 45 days to decide whether to take up the appeal. The DA is asking for an August trial date. Phil?
All right, Mary Alice Parks from the White House. Thank you. A New Mexico judge has rejected an effort by Rust armorer Hannah Gutierrez-Reed to challenge her conviction of involuntary manslaughter. Gutierrez-Reed was convicted of the charge after the 2021 fatal shooting of the film's cinematographer. The bullet fired from a gun being held by Alec Baldwin on the set. The gun was not supposed to have live ammo in it. The judge ruled that Gutierrez-Reed would remain in custody pending her sentencing, which will be in April. We learned today actor Louis Gossett Jr. has died. A trailblazing actor and the first black man to win the Oscar for Best Supporting Actor for his role in An Officer and a Gentleman, that classic film. He was a commanding presence in movies, on stage, television, including the groundbreaking series Roots. Here's Steve Osunsami.
The winner is Louis Gossett Jr.
In an interview published just earlier this year, the one and only Louis Gossett Jr. explained that this moment, when he won the Oscar for Best Supporting Actor in 1983, gave him the ability to choose good parts in movies that wouldn't have necessarily gone to a black man.
Every time I say understand, I want the whole group to say, yes, sir. Understand. Yes, sir. Understand. Yes, sir.
After his role as a tough drill sergeant and An Officer and a Gentleman that delivered that gold statue, came roles that awarded him in other ways, like his long run in the big-budget Iron Eagle action films.
Just cluster that runway. I'll do the rest.
And what the actor says was his favorite role ever, as the alien soldier in Enemy Mine, where he and a human soldier, played by actor Dennis Quaid, had to overcome their differences to survive.
You saved my life. Why? I need to look at another face, even as ugly as yours.
But for many Americans who remember a time when there were very few black faces on American television, he'll always be remembered for his role in the miniseries Roots that aired on this very network that introduced millions to the powerful and painful history of how black people came to America.
You go running off in the hills, you know what's gonna happen to me? I get to sleep on a mud floor. I get to eat what the pigs won't eat.
I had to overcome some disappointments in order to know that God put me on the planet and gave me a gift to do it anyway.
He was only the second black man to ever win an Oscar for acting. In his real life, he would spend much of his life encouraging black men to get early screenings for prostate cancer, which he beat. He was 87 years old. Phil?
A remarkable life and career. Steve, thank you. Today marks 1 year of detainment in Russia for American journalist Evan Gershkovich. The Kremlin accusing him of collecting state secrets for the U.S. But the Biden administration says the Wall Street Journal reporter is being wrongly detained. Earlier this week, his pretrial detention was extended another 3 months. The Journal paid tribute to Gershkovich today, leaving that blank space you see right there on the front page with the headline, "His story should be here." Today is Good Friday, and earlier Pope Francis presided over services at St. Peter's Basilica from a wheelchair. Pope recently struggling with respiratory and mobility issues. And just hours ago, the Vatican saying he had skipped this evening's Way of the Cross procession at Rome's Colosseum in order to protect his health. The eyes of Christians all around the world will be on the pontiff this Easter Sunday. Here's foreign correspondent James Longman.
Tonight, after leading a solemn Good Friday service at St. Peter's Basilica, Pope Francis for the second year in a row skipping the Good Friday procession at Rome's Colosseum. The Vatican says to preserve his health in view of tomorrow's vigil and Easter Sunday Mass. The 87-year-old's mobility issues and cold and flu symptoms interrupting events earlier this year and landing him in the hospital in February. Francis did appear to be in good health Thursday as he visited a women's prison outside Rome. Inmates visibly moved as the Pope washed the feet of 12 of them from his wheelchair, recalling Jesus washing the feet of his disciples the night before he died.
And there is still much more to get to here on Prime. What you need to know about the $1 billion in unclaimed tax refunds before the deadline to claim them. But next, how Beyoncé's Cowboy Carter is impacting all corners of the music world.
Texas Hold'em and 16 Carriages exist as a pinnacle moment for country music because they point back to an extraordinary black country past. So it is pointing back to an entire history of black musicality and black presence.
Whenever news breaks,
we are here in Israel, a nation at war after that brutal surprise attack by Hamas.
On the ground in Ukraine, reporting from Lewiston, Maine.
The scene of a horrific mass shooting.
ABC News Live is right there everywhere.
From the scene of that deadly missile strike in Dnipro, Ukraine. Reporting from the earthquake in Turkey.
In Rolling Fork, this tornado tore through this little town.
From the most devastating disaster in Hawaii.
From Charleston, South Carolina, on the 2024 campaign trail.
In Iceland, let's go.
Traveling with the president in Mexico City.
Wherever the story.
From the front lines, from southern Israel.
Outside the Gaza Strip.
In Beirut.
From the FBI.
Reporting from the nurses on the picket line.
Here at 10 Downing Street in London.
Streaming live to you.
Wherever the story is.
Wherever the story is.
Wherever the story is, we're going to take you there.
You're streaming
ABC News Live.
ABC News Live.
You're streaming ABC News Live.
ABC News Live, streaming free everywhere. America's #1 streaming news.
First thing in the morning.
There's a lot going on.
Yet another avalanche warning that's up.
To catch you up with what happened overnight. A dangerous ice storm is impacting the morning commute.
What's happening today? Escalating tensions in the Middle East.
What people are talking about. The migrant crisis.
Fast, straightforward.
With some fun in between.
How does billionaire sound?
Sounds good to me. The moose started chasing a dog.
First thing in the morning.
America This Morning.
America's #1 early morning news.
On ABC News Live.
What does it take to be the most watched newscast in America?
We are
part of an operation.
Is this our combat operations center?
We're approaching the gate. Militants came in from different directions. Nuclear reactor. So you have a couple loaded and ready to go. The house is destroyed, but the flag...
Not a carry in it.
How important is made to USA?
Great work.
Hi. Appreciate you. Thank you.
Ismail?
David.
David.
I'm David Muir.
I know who you are.
You
Watch
do?
you every night.
ABC's World News Tonight with David Muir is America's most watched newscast.
Beyonce's conquering country.
My family loves Beyonce.
Cowboy Carter comes into the world at a very complex time. People are saying this song is too good to resist.
Just because you sing hip-hop music with a country accent does not make it country music.
The stay in your lane, well, that's not real country. It takes somebody who is at superstar status to do something that shakes it all up.
It's Beyoncé country. This is Impact by Nightline, now streaming on Hulu.
Everything is so fine. Little bit of sunshine. Some more, just a little bit. Breathe more, just a little bit. Smile a little more in a minute. I've been running through the strange life. Pictures on my phone light. Everything is so fine. Little bit of sunshine.
Good morning, America.
Welcome back. Beyonce's country music album, Cowboy Carter, is finally out, and fans around the world are celebrating. The superstar's latest project could blaze a trail for other black female artists to follow. And it's shining a light as well on the rich history of those who've come before her, featuring artists like Dolly Parton, Willie Nelson, and Linda Martell, who was, by the way, the first black female solo artist to play at the Grand Ole Opry. ABC's Janae Norman with more.
With Texas Hold'em.
This ain't Texas. Ain't no Hold'em. Hey. So lay our cards down, 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 down. Only God knows, only God knows, only God knows.
And 16 carriages.
16 carriages.
Beyonce, to the right. Beyonce!
Beyonce's renaissance into a country music star is only just beginning. But like anything she does, people can't stop talking about it.
Beyonce's conquering country.
The Houston native's upcoming country album, Renaissance Act 2.
Queen Bee is embracing her Texas roots.
Here in the heart of Houston is the rodeo. Beyonce has performed here multiple times, so we wanted to ask Houstonians how they feel about their hometown queen, Beyonce.
My family loves Beyonce. She's from Houston, so we love that.
What is it about Beyonce's new music that makes it country?
I think the topic of her lyrics, it's very country-centered.
Country music's for everybody. It's for Beyonce.
But is country music ready for Beyonce?
It's got too much of a pop twang to it.
Just because you sing hip-hop music with a country accent does not make it country music.
Michael Jordan, was he known as a basketball player or a baseball player? Enough said.
On social media, an uproar ensued when a fan posted that an Oklahoma country radio station initially refused to play Beyonce's new music. In a statement, the minority-owned station, KYKC, said that at the time they, quote, had zero knowledge that Beyonce was going to release a country song, and added, "We highly respect Beyonce and her talent." On cable news, former Dukes of Hazzard star John Schneider sang this.
They've got to make their mark just like a dog in a dog walk park.
In a statement, a representative for Schneider said John was clearly talking about artists attempting to cross over into country music and not specifically about Beyonce.
I look at the reaction to Beyonce, I hope I can speak frank here, but it's a musical equivalent of Shut Up and Dribble.
All of this forcing a reflection on the sometimes fraught history of race and country music.
People like to ask the question, why is country music so white? And I point to the larger issue that America is segregated, and country music has braided its identity into American identity.
I've been knocking, banging, kicking on this door, and Beyonce really opened it.
The problem is the way that the industry is reacting to her is not the way that they have reacted to any Black woman in the past, and I don't think it'll be the way that they react to other Black women in the future.
Before the album Cowboy Carter even dropped, Beyonce made history, becoming the first Black woman with the #1 song on the country charts with Texas Hold'em.
That's incredible because this is a place where Lil Nas X's Old Town Road wasn't allowed to be considered on the country charts.
Gonna take my horse to the Old Town Road. I'm gonna ride till I can't no more.
This is a place where Morgan Wallen was caught on tape saying racial slurs, and the response to that was to give him one of the biggest albums in country music of all time. So there's a lot of work that needs to be done.
In a post on Instagram, Beyoncé writing, "My hope is that years from now, the mention of an artist's race as it relates to releasing genres of music will be irrelevant." She added that the album was born out of an experience that I had years ago where I did not feel welcomed.
I think Texas Hold'em and 16 Carriages exist as a pinnacle moment for country music because they point back to an extraordinary Black country past. So it is pointing back to an entire history of Black musicality and Black presence.
This ain't Texas.
Videos going viral of people dancing to Queen Bee. Beyoncé even shouting out the real-life boogie on her TikTok. From older couples like this one to younger ones, all garnering millions of views each.
It takes somebody who is at superstar status to do something that shakes it all up.
That shakeup, thanks in part to country and folk artist Rhiannon Giddens. Her banjo is the first thing you hear on Texas Hold'em.
I know for a long time you said, once Beyoncé puts a banjo on a track, my job is done. Obviously, you don't feel like your job is done.
Yes, never done.
Do you feel like this isn't about Beyoncé going country, it's Beyoncé getting back to her roots?
I'm like, people can do what they want to do. They want to make a country record. Make a country record. Like, nobody's asking Lana Del Rey, what right do you have to make a country record? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody has the opportunity to explore their roots, to go back and go like, this is my life too. I want to do this. Like, the stay in your lane, well, that's not real country. That's just racism. You know, people don't want to say it's because she's Black, you know, but they use these coded terms, you know, and that's problematic. So this is from Jamaica in the late 1600s, one of the earliest notated pieces of music known to be collected by Africans in the Caribbean.
To hear Rhiannon Giddens play is a spiritual experience. She's got a Pulitzer Prize, a couple Grammys, but the instrument she made famous, the banjo, wasn't always something she felt comfortable around growing up in North Carolina.
I got exposed to the banjo, you know, like as a child, as everyone, you know, I would have seen the Beverly Hillbillies. I still felt like, as a person of color, that I had to kind of like ask for permission to go into this, what I had been told was this sort of unassailable, white, Appalachian, you know, like mountain tradition. That was a kind of a monolithic tradition.
But that tradition changed once she learned the roots of those strings.
Finding out that the banjo was an African-derived instrument invented by people in the Caribbean, African diaspora, enslaved people, blew my mind. And I was like, it lit this fire in me. And I was kind of like, can I come into this music? I really like it, you know? And then I learned the history and I was like, give it to me, you know? It's like, this is mine too, this is everybody.
We caught up with Giddens before her sold-out show at the Beacon Theater in New York City. The Renaissance woman following her North Star.
To now be a part of this moment on Beyoncé's country hit, what is that like for you?
Like, to be honest, it's like, it's the best thing ever. I think about the legacy of the Black string band player, the Black banjoist, the Black fiddler that helped create the pathways and the byways of American culture. To be represented in that way is just amazing.
Strumming strings full of history to help a new generation discover their roots. that responsibility precious and poignant for Rhiannon.
Like when they're dancing to the banjo, I'm sorry, it's just like, I'm sorry. I've just been working so hard. This is like, it's our music.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I just had to have patience. This music is a part of us, and it's been missing from our understanding of who we are. And I think it leaves a huge hole. You know what I mean? And so, to see, Black people doing line dances to my banjo, there's an opportunity for people who don't know who I am to have a piece of that. And then if they want more, there's a bunch of people doing this work.
Absolutely. The more, the merrier. And good is good. Just be undeniable. Our thanks to Janae for that. For more on Beyoncé's return to her roots, you can stream Impact by Nightline's Beyoncé Country, now on Hulu. There is still much more to get to tonight. Coming up, fast food workers in California are getting a wage increase. What restaurants are saying that'll mean for prices. But next, as Beyoncé knows, you can't do country without a little bit of a nod to Dolly Parton, the queen of country, by the numbers.
People really want to know what it feels like to be a photographer.
Right shoulder down, there we go.
It's this yin-yang of danger and this incredible raw beauty.
That's his first breath. That's so cool.
All right, this is it.
These moments that you immortalize makes a lot of difference.
There's a masterpiece everywhere.
National forests are good places to get away. But sometimes bad things happen in good places.
It's the stuff of nightmares.
All I could see was their feet sticking up. My knees went weak.
This is a human skull.
We were definitely against the clock.
How many more victims are out there?
Wild Crime, Blood Mountain, now streaming only on Hulu.
I've covered a lot of twisted, dark stories, but I've never seen anything quite like this.
It was terrifying.
Elisa was a very beautiful woman.
She just seduced him.
This is where the nightmare began.
Elise had asked, would horse tranquilizer kill a human being?
And I said, you mean a horse? She says, no, a person.
This is crazy.
The 2020 event.
I hadn't thought about that in a very long time.
Tonight on ABC.
First thing in the morning.
There's a lot going on.
Yet another avalanche warning that's up.
To catch you up with what happened overnight. A dangerous ice storm is impacting the morning commute.
What's happening today? Escalating tensions in the Middle East.
What people are talking about. The migrant crisis.
Fast, straightforward.
With some fun in between.
How does billionaire sound?
Sounds good to me. The moose started chasing a dog.
First thing in the morning.
America This Morning.
America's #1 early morning news.
On ABC News Live.
Real Housewives of Beverly Hills star Erica Jane.
Celebrity attorney Tom Girardi.
This story was a nuclear explosion.
Today, several victims will get a chance to finally meet Erica Girardi.
I'm at sort of a loss for what to say. Did you see the documentary? The Housewife and the Hustler? I did.
I wanted Erica to say, I'm sorry, face to face. Erica, why did it take you so long?
The Housewife and the Hustler 2, only on Hulu.
Why do so many people start their day here?
From ABC News, this is Start Here.
To be in the know and get a different take on the day's top stories.
A lot of news today, so let's get into it.
Listen now to the Daily News Podcast honored with 4 Edward R. Murrow Awards and see why the New York Times calls it a news podcast worth listening to. Start Here, ABC News. Make it your daily first listen.
Now, that's a part of the story I bet you didn't see coming.
Wherever you get your podcasts, Start Here.
It's lunchtime in America, so what are we serving up?
Well, how about everything you need to know?
You know, that sounds pretty good.
Give it to me. Your health, your money, breaking news, pop culture, with the biggest stars, music, trends, and of course, good food. GMA3, What you need to know. A third hour of GMA in the afternoon.
So join us after news.
For everything you need to know. I love that.
I'm Whit Johnson, reporting from Maui. Wherever the story is, we'll take you there. You're streaming ABC News Live.
Jolene, 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 I'm warning you, don't come for my man.
That right there is Beyoncé's rendition of the Dolly Parton classic Jolene, the song released today on Beyoncé's new album titled Cowboy Carter. And in honor of Parton's most covered song, we're going to take a look at the queen of country music herself by the numbers. In 1959, Dolly Parton was just 13 years old when she released her first song, Puppy Love. Parton has since had 20 hit songs make Billboard's Hot 100 chart, 2 of them reaching #1, including her classic 9 to 5, and Islands in the Stream, a duet with Kenny Rogers, was the other. Jolene peaked at number 60 on the Hot 100 list when it was released back in 1974. And Parton has since had 4 different hit versions of the song, including a rock version with the popular Italian band Måneskin, released last year. The now 78-year-old's net worth, $440 million. That's according to Forbes. And while the country sweetheart is best known, of course, for her songwriting and music, the bulk of her wealth actually comes from her Tennessee theme park, Dollywood. The hotel and water park attraction brings in around $1.8 billion every year, and she owns a 50% stake. There is much more ahead here on Prime. From Texas to Maine, how cities in the path of the total eclipse are preparing for the crowds, plus some last-minute tips if you're still making plans. And the multi-state sting operation that led to 150 arrests related to smuggling illegal contraband into prisons.
Whenever, wherever news breaks, it's so important to always remember that lives are changed.
Here in London, in Buffalo, Uvalde, Texas, Edinburgh, Scotland.
From Poland once again tonight. Thank you so much for streaming with us. Ukrainian refugees here in Warsaw.
Do you think you'll ever be able to go back home? We're heading to a small community outside of Mexico City. Splintered houses and splintered lives. The magnitude of the devastation. You're streaming ABC News Live. Reporting from Rolling Fork, Mississippi, Santa Fe, New Mexico, Raleigh, North Carolina, the U.S. Capitol, Mayfield, Kentucky,
Minneapolis,
Mexico, Tongass National Forest, Alaska.
Getting you behind the stories as they happen, giving you a front row seat to our world as it plays out in real time, live.
ABC News Live Prime. We'll take you there.
Stream ABC News Live weeknights, America's most honored streaming news program, only on ABC News Live. Streaming free right now wherever you stream your news.
First thing in the morning.
There's a lot going on.
Yet another avalanche warning that's up.
To catch you up with what happened overnight. A dangerous ice storm is impacting the morning commute.
What's happening today? Escalating tensions in the Middle East.
What people are talking about. The migrant crisis.
Fast, straightforward.
With some fun in between.
How does billionaire sound?
Sounds good to me. The moose started chasing a dog.
First thing in the morning.
America This Morning.
America's #1 early morning news.
On ABC News Live.
Monday afternoon, April 8th. All eyes to the sky for a total solar eclipse, a breathtaking celestial event. ABC News, together with National Geographic, with ABC's David Muir and Lindsay Davis reporting. Watch it all on ABC News Live, National Geographic Channel, Nat Geo Wild, Disney Plus, Hulu, and live on ABC. Eclipse across America, Monday afternoon, April 8th, starting at 2 p.m. Eastern.
Can you believe it? It's 25 years of breakfast in bed, surprising moms across America.
Oh my goodness.
And for our 25th anniversary, we're making it the biggest surprise yet.
A full-on breakfast in bed extravaganza like you have never seen before.
So go to goodmorningamerica.com or scan this QR code to find out how to enter a deserving mom you love for breakfast in bed.
Sunday morning, breaking new reports on the Baltimore Bridge collapse, the investigation, and what's next for rebuilding, and new ISIS attacks after the terror that happened in Moscow. What's being done here to keep Americans safe? Sunday morning on ABC's This Week.
Why do so many people start their day here?
From ABC News, this is Start Here.
To be in the know and get a different take on the day's top stories. Start here.
Now, that's a part of the story I bet you didn't see coming.
Make it your daily first listen, wherever you get your podcasts.
Welcome back. Gas prices are going up. A major sting operation to keep contraband out of prisons and jails. And some good news for egg lovers. These stories and more in tonight's rundown. California's new minimum wage for fast food workers goes into effect April 1st. And some chains like McDonald's and Chipotle have said they will raise prices to cover the increased labor costs. McDonald's generated about $25 billion in revenue last year alone, while Chipotle saw about $10 billion in revenue in 2023. Workers in the state successfully formed a statewide union to lobby for a wage increase. The national average for a cost of a gallon of unleaded gasoline has jumped about 14% since the beginning of the year. That's according to data from AAA. Analysts say these bumps in prices reflect the growing demand for fuel each spring as drivers take advantage of the warmer weather. Still, experts expect prices to come down by the end of the year. Senator Joe Lieberman was laid to rest in Stamford, Connecticut today, with his former running mate Al Gore offering a eulogy.
Friendship over anger. Reconciliation as a form of grace. We can learn from Joe Lieberman's life some critical lessons about how we might heal the rancor in our nation today.
Lieberman spent decades in public service, serving as Connecticut senator for more than 20 years in Washington. Tax season is right around the corner, and the IRS is reminding people to collect their refunds from almost 4 years ago. The agency says it's sitting on almost $1 billion worth of refunds that have yet to be claimed by nearly 1 million taxpayers. The IRS commissioner says taxpayers have until May 17th of this year to claim their 2020 refunds. Georgia Governor Brian Kemp announcing the arrests of 150 people in a massive investigation into illegal contraband delivered into state prison facilities. The operation spanned multiple states. The arrests included prison staff and resulted in more than 1,000 criminal charges for those involved. According to the state, the plan included flying drones into prison airspace and dropping packages of illegal goods for inmates to retrieve. And a new study that was funded by Eggland's Best and presented at the American College of Cardiology's annual scientific session finds that eating more than a dozen eggs a week may not negatively affect your cholesterol levels. Researchers followed 140 adults ages 50 and older who have heart disease or 2 risk factors for developing heart disease. And then they put them into 2 groups, those who ate 2 or fewer eggs a week and those who eat more than 12 fortified eggs a week. And the results? Well, no meaningful change in the levels of HDL, or what's known as the good cholesterol, nor the LDL, which is often called bad cholesterol. Okay, so you might know our next guest as the complicated yet lovable Nate Shelley from the beloved series Ted Lasso, but now Nick Mohammed is coming back to our screens as a pixie. In the new historical adventure series Renegade Nell, set in 18th century England, the series takes viewers on a wild ride after a young woman named Nell Jackson finds herself framed for murder and becomes an outlaw. But she soon realizes that the supernatural power she has could also be what saves people and possibly even herself. Take a look.
So, 3 things. 1, I'm on your side. 2, that it's not loaded. And 3, it wouldn't have any effect on me even if it was, for I am non-corporeal.
What do you mean you're on my side?
Are you sold? Nick Mohammed joins us now. Nick, thanks so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's so great to have you here. You have played so many lovable characters, right? And this particular character, this series, this historical, authentic factor, but it also has this fantastical bit to it that we just saw a little bit.
Yeah.
Tell us about the world of Renegade Nell.
Yeah, you know, look, it's written and created by Sally Wainwright, who's an absolute genius. And, you know, traditionally she has written sort of grittier shows like Happy Valley. But thematically, this is sort of similar, even though it's quite a swashbuckling family series. You know, strong female lead at the heart of it, about social injustice, class warfare, and so on. But yeah, there is this supernatural element where my character Billy Blind comes in. And it's sort of together, he and... well, I call him he, but he's a sprite, really. He's not to really gender him. But together, Nell and Billy kind of have this sort of incredible ability, this sort of supernatural power that they kind of use as a force for good. But yeah, it means that it makes it a departure from Sally's previous stuff. But it's also sort of grounded in sort of a semi-truth, because in the 18th century, a lot of people did believe in some of the kind of the folklore that the show alludes to. And in fact, I think Billy Blind is based on an old story of like an imp that used to like live under the pillow to sort of protect you if you were kind of to protect children and so on. So it is based on a truth, even though it's very fantastical.
It is very different from, say, the role you played in Ted Lasso.
Yeah,
or we could name any other number of things.
Yeah.
What drew you to this specific role? Because it's pretty particular.
Yeah, I think it's like what, you know, what we were saying before, in that I particularly enjoy sort of doing lots of different sort of things and sort of challenging myself in different kind of ways. And, you know, Ted Lasso was obviously had a particular, you know, that character in particular had its own sort of journey. And this, I remember this coming towards the end of Ted Lasso, and I was reading it thinking, this is so sort of different from anything that I've read before. And, you know, there was that supernatural element. I knew that I was going to get to go on Wires, which was a real draw because it's been a childhood sort of dream.
How did you bring comedy to the role? How do you mix comedy in with?
It was quite tricky in a way because Louisa and I had to film all our stuff separately, because I was still finishing off on season 3 of Ted Lasso when they were doing principal photography. So all my stuff was green screen, separate. I was lucky I had all of Louisa's coverage to kind of go on, but Louisa literally had like an eye line on a stick, I think, to kind of go on. So it was, we were not concerned, but we just knew that we had to kind of try and get the dynamic right. And, you know, they are a bit of a double act to a degree, because they sort of bicker a little bit at the start when it's, you know, Nell's frustrated as to why he's here. But, you know, they kind of bond over the course of the series.
I just want to go back to one thing you just said. For those of us who aren't actors, that's going to be really difficult when you're not actually acting with the person. How do you wrap your head around that, especially in something like this?
Well, it's a technical challenge more than anything, and it's something, again, it's something that I'd never really done before on previous jobs. But you know, you have so much support from the kind of technical team, you know, the visual effects and stunts people, you know, especially when you're on Wires and you've got particular eye lines and particular shots. It was technically challenging, but, you know, still a real privilege and a joy.
And just quickly, without giving too much of it away, how much does your character and how does your character influence Nell?
Well, they go on this journey together. I think they realise quite early on that that his purpose is more than is more there not to just sort of solve Nell's problems, but they might have a higher purpose in terms of there's a whole plot to kind of overthrow the Queen of England, basically, which they have to kind of thwart together. So yeah, they have a much bigger goal.
Well, it's always wonderful to meet someone who you admire on screen and is just wonderful in person. So, thank you so much, Nick.
Thank you
really
very
do
much.
appreciate
Thank you for having me.
Renegade Nell is now available to stream on Disney+. Life and death in the city that never sleeps. In the new film Asphalt City, viewers join the journey of a young paramedic assigned to the night shift in New York. So we follow Ollie Cross, who works alongside his uncompromising and seasoned partner, Gene. Under the shadow of night, the two find a city in crisis, with each 911 call bringing danger and uncertainty. Take a look.
You think these people like you?
Outside with the dog. We're trying to treat them.
Yes, Madrid. You think you're saving people?
They give me about 2 weeks.
Intense. Joining us now is Ty Sheridan, who stars as Ollie Cross. Ty, good to see you. Thanks so much for being here. Our viewers will know you from Ready Player One and Cyclops and some of the X-Men movies. But in this film, you're both acting and producing.
That's right.
And one thing that people might not know is you have a production company, and this is the first effort from that production company, right?
That's
so
right.
This is a big deal for you.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. Thanks. It's nice to be here. Yeah, no, that's right. We've been trying to make this film since 2018, so it's been a long time coming.
And you described this project particularly as one of the most difficult projects you've ever worked on. Why is that?
Yeah, if not the most difficult.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, I think, you know, as you can see, it's a comedy. No, it's very intense subject matter.
Yeah.
You know, getting into the lives of of medics, and specifically medics in the city of New York. It was an intense journey. You know, I think shooting a film in New York is a very intense journey.
Yeah, that's just tactically, that's a difficult thing to do. But then, yeah, you're taking on, you know, this first responder role. How did you prepare for it?
We spent a lot of time riding around with actual medics. Since 2018, I was taking trips to New York, and we were working with a lot of medics from Wyckoff Hospital in Brooklyn. They're kind of our official advisors on the film. And then 2 months leading up to shooting the film, I was doing three or four ride-alongs a week, 12-hour, you know, night rides, and always Friday and Saturday nights, which are the busiest nights.
Were there things that you saw that you thought would happen in a different way? Were you surprised by some of the stuff you saw? And I don't mean the actual calls you went out on, but how it works.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the thing I was most surprised by was you're showing up to people in their worst moments, right? And no one ever plans for an accident. So you show up and there's a family of 9, and then they're in the middle of cooking dinner, and you can smell everything, and there's the TV's blaring, and grandma's lying on the floor, and you never know whose life you're going to walk into, you know, and each call comes with a surprise.
There's a lot of back and forth, and we're seeing Sean Penn right there, the relationship with your partner, Gene, played by Sean Penn. Your relationship sort of takes center stage. What was it like acting with him, I guess I should say, as an adult, because this is the first movie you did was with Sean Penn too, right?
That's right. That's right. Yeah, when I was 11 years old, it was a movie called The Tree of Life. But we didn't really have any scenes together. The only overlap Sean and I ever had was we were staying at a beach house, two separate beach houses that were right next door to each other in the Gulf Coast when we were shooting there. And I offered him a cold beer. You know, my parents
at 11.
At 11, my parents were having a beer on the porch, and they said, "Oh, there's Sean. You know, ask him if he wants to come over for a beer." So he said, "Sure, I'll take a beer from the 11-year-old bartender." And so he came over, and I remember I always had good memories of Sean from them. But yeah, this is the first time really getting to work together. And
I know Sean, you wanted him specifically for this role, right?
That's right. Yeah, we went to Sean, in 2018. And I think the timing was wrong. You know, I wasn't really looking to act then, and because the film took so long to make, we kind of revisited after COVID, and he had done a lot of work with first responders during the fires in Malibu, where he lives, and also through COVID with his organization. And I think he had, I mean, he's always had a respect for this community, but I think he had a recent engagement that kind of made this project feel even more special. So we got him on the hook.
Well, first responders are heroes.
They are.
We all know that, especially here in New York City. You two do a great job. I appreciate you taking the time. Oh, Mike Tyson's in the film, but we'll let.
That's right.
We don't have to get into that today. We'll let people watch the film itself. But that's kind of cool that Mike Tyson's in it as well. Ty, thank you so much. And you all can watch Asphalt City in theaters starting today. We are tracking several headlines around the world at this hour. People continue to lay flowers and toys at the memorial outside the concert venue west of Moscow, which became the site of the deadliest attack inside Russia in 2 decades. Armed men burst into that concert hall, spraying people with bullets during a show by the Soviet-era rock group Picnic, killing at least 144 people and injuring 382 others. On this Good Friday in Bolivia, Bolivian, Argentine, and Peruvian artists spent part of the day carving large religious images depicting the Way of the Cross stations out of sand in dunes. The festival is an annual tradition that has been running for more than 17 years, drawing large numbers to marvel at the sand creations. And this Easter in South Africa, you could spend your cash on a penguin egg. This is part of a broader effort by a South African conservation group that has been incubating more than 200 eggs of the endangered African penguin that were rescued from 2 colonies. The Southern African Foundation for the Conservation of Coastal Birds is soliciting donations to meet the cost of incubating them by inviting people to adopt an egg. Now to the countdown to the solar eclipse, just 10 days away. Cities along the path of totality are preparing to become tourist hotspots, and it could mean big bucks for them as millions prepare to get on the road. ABC's Gio Benitez has more.
Across the country, a total eclipse takeover.
We have folks coming from Japan and Tasmania, 11 European countries.
With the stunning and rare celestial event a little over a week away, cities along the path of totality, now the biggest tourist hotspots in the U.S. Nearly 4 million visitors expected as far south as Texas, all the way north to Maine.
Believe it or not, people have been booking hotels for 11 months now. Airlines have added special flights for the coverage.
We've got all the gadgets, hoping to be able to record some cool pictures.
Wesley Myers and her family hitting the road for a 15-hour drive from Florida to Texas to take part.
We wanted to go somewhere that had a decent amount of totality. We want to show the kids around Texas. So we thought it was great because they are having over 4 minutes.
And Nazmus Nasir has been planning his trip for 7 years.
I don't know if there are words to describe the level of excitement I have. Having preparing for this for years, I knew the dates of the next 5 or 6 that are happening. I said, yep, I know exactly where we want to go.
Priceline saying it has seen more than a 330% jump in flight searches for cities like Indianapolis, Cleveland, San Antonio, Buffalo, and Dallas compared to the same time last year. Those Eclipse weekend flights don't always come cheap. The average round-trip ticket to Louisville runs about $1,200. Buffalo, about $1,000, and San Antonio, just under $900. Travel experts say there may still be time to snag a deal, particularly when it comes to hotels.
You want to go to a secondary city, so don't try to go to Indianapolis, but travel to Bloomington or outside the major cities, because sometimes you'll still see hotel deals there.
With all that travel, local economies are expected to reap the rewards. The state of Texas could pocket a record $428 million. And those smaller cities are still going big on Eclipse Mania, like Hillsboro, Texas, which is offering a weekend of events leading up to the main one. Locals say they've been preparing for 2 years to welcome crowds to Eclipseboro.
We ordered 25,000 pairs of Eclipse glasses, and there was a moment when we started to think maybe that's not enough, and so we ordered another 25,000 pair.
There's really no shortage of ways to participate. Six Flags Over Texas offering thrill seekers a chance to strap in for a solar coaster. And if you have your sea legs, Holland America offers an experience far away from the distractions offshore.
All right, Gio, thank you. And a reminder, we will have full eclipse coverage all day with our correspondents. World News Tonight anchor David Muir and Lindsay Davis fanned out across the country. Make sure to tune in on April 8th right here on ABC News Live. And that's our show for tonight. I'm Phil Lipoff. ABC News Live is here for you all night with the latest news, context, and analysis. And you can always find us on Hulu, Roku, Pluto TV, the ABC News app, and, of course, abcnews.com. Have a good night.
Why do so many people start their day here?
From ABC